all.
Okay, we have a live webinar.
Dana said she's in the waiting room.
Is that Matt's alter ego over there going on? Who's this?
She should be in. Just gotta find her name. She's in yet? She's under legacy. All right, well, we got people pouring in, so we will give everyone a minute to hop on. Hope everyone's having a great afternoon. Mike, welcome.
Hello, hello.
Oh, good. We got, hey, in the chat, why don't you, as you guys are coming in, why don't you share where you're from in the world right now? Lisa, I see you in the chat. Good morning. I think I've talked to you the last 3 days. That's like 3 days in a row. It's great. All right. Look all over. Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio. We're currently looking for Dana in the attendee group, so give us a moment here to find her. Dana, I think I just pulled you forward. There you are.
I made it.
We're like, which Zoom account is she under?
I didn't know. Every time I log in, it's a different one. Sorry about that.
All good, all good.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I know. Okay, we've got Danny, Greg, Mike. Hold on. Let's see. Kelsey was having a little bit of an issue logging in.
Chelsea's working on it right now.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys for your patience. Hope you all are having a great week. Oh, there's Kelsey. It's actually kind of hard to see Kelsey for some reason. Can you guys? Oh, there we go.
Oh, we can see her.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Hey, Kelsey.
Hey. Awesome. There we go. All right, guys. Let's kick it off. Are we ready, Press? Ready to go, do you think?
Ready. You take the lead.
Okay, perfect. Actually, we have a sponsor that we're gonna let kick off first. We have America's Preferred Home Warranty. Matt, welcome. Thank you so much. I see you have several on, so I'm gonna let you kick off and introduce, and then we'll go from there.
No problem. Good to see you, Dana. It's good to see all of you guys. It's certainly been a weird time since we saw each other, but I happen to be lucky enough to be with one of the panelists. As you see the room, Greg Erling and I.
I was going to say, are you and Greg together?
Yeah. So it's yep, yeah, over there. But it's one of those funny things. We get to be out in the world again and relive and have an awesome experience. So I just wanted to tell you this. One of the things I've been thinking about lately is experience. Right? We know that selling a house right now is super easy. It's stressful, but it's easy. But buying a house is a challenge. And one of the things that you guys have the opportunity now to is deliver a ton of value to your clients, to your buyers. You know it's going to be a challenging process. I'm not here to tell you to put a warranty in an offer. Actually, I'm here to not tell you to do that. Make sure it's clean. Make sure you give them the best shot. But the thing that lives on is that if you have the ability to deliver that supreme experience to your buyers right now, they'll never forget COVID. They never forget they made the crazy decision to buy during a pandemic, and they'll never forget that you were their realtor during that time. So you have the ability to have them have a snapshot of you in their brain from ever on forward. So I think it's a great opportunity. It's a little bit of a challenge, of course, but it's a great way to do it. I would love for you to put a warranty on there because things are going to break, and we can help you look like a king or a queen after the fact. So just embrace what's going on now, take advantage of it. You can really change your perspective in your career right now if you take advantage of it while the sun, make hay while the sun shines. That's it for me. It was great to see you guys. I can't wait to hear about all of everything on social media.
Thanks, Matt. Awesome. Do you want to introduce? Is your crew going to talk? Do you want to introduce or no?
It is more than enough warranty convo for the day.
Okay.
On to the important stuff.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sponsoring. We appreciate you guys and all that you do, and are very grateful. So thank you. Yes. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off, and we are going to share with you 4 who we think are amazing rock stars in the Ohio Valley region in regards to social media, marketing, branding, etc. I'm going to introduce each one of them. And actually, if you guys will just tell a little bit about yourself, how long you've been in the business, where you're from, and maybe a little bit about your team or your business in regards to last year. And Danny, I'll kick it off and start with you.
All right. Well, thank you, Dana, for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. And social media is pretty much the groundwork of everything that I've been able to build. So I started in 2018 in June, and I was a solo agent starting at an advisor's office here in Cincinnati. So social media was kind of the bedrock of throwing everything from a kickoff event at the beginning to now we're doing a big giveaway thing right now. That's really helped to take off and build our social media following on Instagram. We've used Facebook to promote a lot of events since I got kicked off. As our team has grown, we've done things like host drive-in events or renting a trampoline park, that kind of stuff. And we always use social media to blast out events to invitations, as well as showing off kind of clientele when they are closing on houses or clients that we've worked with in the past to brag on them. So that's kind of how we use it. Our team, I think you mentioned kind of size of team and stuff.
Yes, that'd be great.
We have 6 people on our team now. We did just under 23 million in production last year. And we have an incredible transaction coordinator who's on here as well, Donna Drake. So the way I look at it, I'm nothing without that team of people surrounding and helping us to grow. But it's been really, really fun to tap into something that seems like a couple years ago I never would have viewed as a business tool. But I think I spent all of my college years building and having fun with social media for seemingly no reason as I look back now. But it's really helped with our business and with my life. So it's fun to tap into that with a team of people now, not just be by myself anymore. But that's kind of the background on me.
Awesome. Thank you, Danny. Okay. Kelsey, you want to go next? Oh, Kelsey, you're muted. Sorry. You're muted.
Oh, there. Okay. Hey, I'm Kelsey, and we have a team down in Owensboro, and we just launched our expansion teams. We did about 325 units last year, and we will do over 500 this year. It should be a huge year. So we had a lot of growth through social media, like he was saying, just letting everybody know, keeping everyone informed, client parties, and just allowing them to get to know us. So we're really excited and kind of short, sweet, and to the point.
And Kelsey, correct me if I'm wrong. Weren't you the #1 social media realtor in something? Share it because it was great. I'm going to butcher it. So you tell them.
Well, I thought it was spam. So people kept like hammer down my phone. And I'm like, who is this? Like, I thought they were just trying to get leads or I'm going to pay them for leads. And then they found me on Instagram and I was voted the #1 realtor in the state of Kentucky on social media. So that was pretty exciting. I had no idea. I was actually having a really bad day that day. So that was pretty exciting. I had no idea how they found me or what happened, but it was pretty cool.
Awesome. Love it. Congratulations, by the way. That's so great. I was like cheering you on. Woo, great job. Okay, awesome. Okay, let's see. Mike, do you want to go? And then we'll have Greg after that.
Sure. All right. Thank you, Dana, for the invite and for the intro. Appreciate it. Mike Feldman. I'm in Indianapolis. This is my 6th year in the business, so 5 full years in this industry. I helped found a team a couple of years ago, and we did 35 million last year. Most of them, I'd say 90% of transactions were in Indianapolis. We're hyper local on just a handful of neighborhoods. So we really kind of want to dominate just a couple small neighborhoods, versus kind of spreading ourselves too thin a little bit. And really kind of dove, I've played with social media since social media was a thing, but didn't really start using it as a business tool until maybe 4 years ago. You know, I very much treat it as like the pillar of my business. You know, like when I time block for, you know, when I say I'm going to do 2 hours of prospecting, social media falls into that category. So I'm calling FSBOs, Expired, Sphere, and doing social media stuff. So it's been an incredibly valuable tool in my business. Last year, I think about $6 million of my business came as a direct result of social media. And that's all organic stuff. It's not like social media ads or anything like that. So it's all just organic, just inbound leads that I receive from social media. So it's been a very valuable tool and asset to my business. And it's something that I've consistently doubled down on every single year, bringing on videographers and photographers and really making social media a very valuable pillar of my business.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. I know your videos are the ones I always tell people to go watch. So
Sweet.
Love it.
Thank you.
Okay. And last but not least, Greg, thank you for being on, because I know you are in Orlando at the Glover U conference or mastermind this week. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Of course. No, I'm honored. I'm excited to be here. And so I'm based out of Ohio. We have our hub is out of Cleveland. We have Cincinnati, Columbus, 7 offices. We did 308 million last year. I've been doing this since 2004. I came to Keller Williams in 2008. Tripped across a class called Bold Tech. And Bold Tech really pushed me into hyper-local niche websites. So started to use internet website development, and then that kind of led into marketing and branding. Fast forward today, Gary Keller talked about vertically integrating businesses. When your business is so big and you're able to start other businesses, and we did that. And we now have our own in-house media company called Easy Media Productions. And from that, you know, we feel like the future of real estate is Gary Vee talks about this, is heavy marketing, branding, and of course, all of that is on the channels of social media. For newer agents, understand that one of the things that Gary liked about our P&L is the way that we keep our expenses down. And we did that through a marketing-based system of using free social media for most of our ad quote spend. So that's my background.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry, I had a crazy dog barking during that. So I'm glad that you shared. I had to go grab him. UPS, of course, showed up. COVID working from home day. Okay, guys. So let's see. We're already getting several questions. So yes, please. Thank you, Press, for saying that. Please make sure you type your questions either in the chat or in the Q&A. Chat's probably easier because not everybody can see the Q&A. Stephanie asked, Danny, do you have your clients in a private group to invite to events, or do you put the events on your main page to invite? And you said you actually invite everyone. Do you want to answer that real quick, and then we'll dive into kind of some specific questions?
Totally. So our thought process behind this, and I listened to a podcast and I looked it up today because it literally changed my life. It was by Michael Marr, who is the same guy who wrote The 7 Levels of Communication, greatest business book literally ever. And he has a podcast. It's on Real Estate Rockstars with Pat Hyben. It is number 587, and it's called Get 500 Plus Referrals Annually, Hosting Events for Your Entire Database with Michael Marr. And I'm happy to send that out or send it to Dana and get it to people. But that podcast is 45 minutes of pure gold. And the basis of it is pretty easy to understand because we're at Keller Williams. We have the 36 touch program or 40 touch, or are we up to like 87 touches yet? I don't know what it's at currently. But when we look at the idea of touching base consistently with clientele, that's always been intimidating to me. I don't love cold calls. I don't love door knocking. I don't have an awesome MailChimp email system in place, but with social media and events, what we're able to do is systematically invite people and get multiple touch points prior to an event with invitations. And on this podcast, something he says is no one wants to be called and bugged and asked for something or have to get a chore of giving you leads. What everyone wants is to receive a call or get an invitation to something. And even if they don't want to come, they still want to be invited just so they can tell you no. So his basis for this is if you throw an event, you can systematically, the way that we've done it, through a Facebook invitation, like an actual event, a Facebook video, an Instagram, putting that video there, or on LinkedIn, using other posts and everything else to basically get a systematic 10 touch points per client per event. So the way that we go about doing that is even after the event, you can follow up with the people who came and say, thanks for coming, and follow up with the people who didn't make it and say, hope we can see you at the next one. Obviously, COVID has thrown a wrench in this, but I think one of the gold nuggets that I love about this is when we host those events, if you host a client event and don't have any sort of output on the back end, you're missing it. We hire a professional videographer to come in and take a 2.5 minute summarization. And my word to him every time is, get as many people in this video as you possibly can that came to this event, because they will all watch this video back and they want to see their kids in it. They want to see themselves in it. And in addition to the videographer, we have a professional photographer who gets us about 150 to 200 photos. We can use those on all social media channels. People take those and post them on their own and give us a shout out. It's just the best way ever to create a brand, a cohesive, fun, trusting environment where people see the events. And even if they didn't go, they can kind of relive it through the video and then go, I've got to go to the next one. So I remember early on when I was just little Danny throwing events, people would make fun of me. And they're like, why are you throwing parties? Like, what are you doing? There's nobody making fun of me now. We had 350 people at our last drive-in event. We have 6 team members. All of their friends and family are coming. We got pretty consistently 10 plus referrals following those events that you can track back specifically to a person who came to the event, or somebody who they knew that said, what were you doing at the pizza place or the trampoline park or the drive-in movie or whatever that is. So the reason I bring all that up, we use social media to funnel all of that. To be honest, we could really grow in the way that we use email and phone calls and some of the other ways to market these. But basically by filming a video and pumping out social media advertising, we've had in the mid 300s now at those events pretty consistently.
Wow. That is amazing. Okay, I just want to pause there for 1 minute and then we'll keep going. 2 quick questions. Did you already answer how far out prior to the event are you advertising the event?
Good question. My minimum is a month. If you don't have a month to prepare and advertise an event, you're missing it. So preferably a month and a half. And what we do is drop a video first. It's always me talking and then some comical, ridiculous B-roll going on. Our lender sponsors. And here's a little something for you guys too. If you are bringing value and your partners love and respect you and you approach them in the correct way, if they don't give you money for these events, they shouldn't be your partners anymore, to be honest with you. I think I heard Monica say that for the first time at family reunion when she was talking about real estate assistants and the value they bring in partnerships and everything. And she said, if your home inspector and your lender and your title company won't give you money to do things, you need a new one. So we don't ask, we go to them and we say, hey, are we getting your normal, or we are going to get your normal $300 contribution. You can send it. Our lender is up to the point where he pays for half of our events. So when we go to the Reds game and buy $4,000 worth of tickets, half of that is covered. So utilizing those resources has been huge, and you want some time ahead to market that. So obviously you can get as many people there as possible.
Love that. Love that. Okay, great. And then really quickly, your drive-in event, what was that again?
So
not a COVID thing?
It was a COVID thing. So the reason we wanted to do an outdoor drive-in movie was because people could be distanced, they could be outside. The event before that, we literally destroyed the fire code at a pizza place locally here. We just could never do that again anyway. And that was before COVID hit. And I knew the guys who owned that place and it was awesome. People loved it. But we were already having to think, what are we going to do for the next one? Because we can't pack this many people into a place like this. So the Reds game was on our radar, and then COVID knocked that out. We had done things like ice skating, and even the outdoor places put limits on people. So the drive-in movie theater was the one place where churches were meeting, events were being held, and they were a
great idea.
And it was awesome. So we did cater individual boxes of a restaurant called Chicken Salad Chick. So we catered.
That's my favorite.
We love it. So we catered individual meals for every single person that came. It's all free. No one pays for anything. We will always pay for the food, the event, or some sort of additional t-shirt or swag to give to people. There's no expectations at all. I once had a lender before my current lender who sponsors asked me, so am I going to get like 15 minutes at the event to talk to people, or like, you're not talking to anybody. You're showing up and you're paying for it and it's going to be fun. We're not trying to sell to people while we're there. We are showing that we are fun, we're trustworthy, we love them, and we want to give back.
Perfect. Love it. Okay. I'm going to let you, will you type in the chat answers to any of those questions that you see it? Okay, perfect. Kelsey, Mike, or Greg, do any of you want to jump in on events? Let's hit events while we're on it right now.
We haven't done events since really like this time last year.
Yeah.
we've got a couple things that are kind of on the drawing board right now, but yeah, we just haven't dove into anything so far.
Okay, perfect. Kelsey, have you guys?
No, we're in the same spot too. We were trying to kind of come up with those ideas of what we could do because of COVID. So we did have the drive-in. We're working on getting that planned. And honestly, we just hired a social media marketing girl to really help us implement all those things so we could focus on some other. So that's one of our big goals for this year, and we got strong with those because our clients loved them.
Awesome. Love it. Greg, have you guys?
Yeah. So what I loved about what Danny was saying is you can kind of feel his personality and it's coming out. And I always drive over to brand. Sorry about that. But you said trust and you said fun like 2 or 3 times when you were describing your events. And it's so for your events, you're really expressing your brand to the community. And I really appreciate what you're doing there. So what we do is our team, we have a lot of agents. And so we try to help each one of those folks create an event that ties in with their brand to continue to communicate to the world who they are. And so maybe the last one that we did was for an agent on our team, Flavia, and she did there's a local brewery and it's a backyard type of thing. And her personality is very one-on-one and very close personality-based sales tactics. So she was really showing that she's part of their family and that small environment really was a smaller event, but it really worked out well for her. So I guess my only 2 cents that I would add is the events that you throw, tie it to your brand when you can.
Okay, you are actually walking me right into my next question. So Greg, I'll let you go first with that. Why do you actually believe and think that digital marketing and branding is so important? And we'll let everybody answer that. But Greg, you teach a class on that. You're like the king of that. So I'm kick it off with that.
Why do I think it's so important?
How do you know it's so important?
Yeah, right. I mean, you got to follow the greats, right? I mean, obviously Disney and obviously I'm in Orlando, so that's on my mind. But Disney and GE, Ford, Jeep, all major companies are going to have digital and social media platforms. Nobody at Frito-Lay says, well, I don't really do Instagram, right? It's right. So let's just learn from the Fortune 500. If they have it, you should have it. Treat your business like a business. You're not a realtor, you're a small business. And small businesses have marketing departments, and marketing and the way the world works today is we communicate through digital marketing. You do not have the option to be a realtor, in my opinion, and not dominate and work any social media platform. Touch on all of them and dive into one that you feel comfortable with. But for that, it's the cheapest, most effective way to communicate your call to actions, your brand awareness. You cannot be an undercover agent, right? We hear that all the time from the stage at family reunion and stuff. You've got to express who you are, and you can do that through digital marketing. Postcards and all that other stuff absolutely works. Postcards, in my opinion, cost a little bit more than simply updating your profile in your YouTube channel or your Instagram profile, right? It's free. I'm very, very frugal, we'll say. So
will you touch on really quickly too? So Greg and I run a real estate Keller Williams office in Columbus, Ohio. And one of the first things I loved when he came on board that he did was what he called like an online social media / audit. Yeah. Will you talk about that? Because I think that is so important for even agents to do that.
Yeah. The first thing I like people to do, and this is what I did in the 30, 60, 90, becoming a team leader for that office, is identify what the brand of our office is. And our office specifically was the value came from the high-end talent that we have, the agents, and right, expressing that. So identify what your brand is. That's its own class. Once you have that, make sure that you do an audit on all your social media platforms. For the past 10, 12 years, or whenever you opened up your MySpace account, you've been putting stuff on the internet. We need to make sure and validate that all of those things. So quite frankly, Google your name. It's a scary thing. Google your name, try to stalk yourself the same way you stalked, that last client that came through your open house. Okay. Everybody does it. So they're going to do it to you. So you want to do it first and clean up everything, make sure it affiliates and it ties in with your brand. And then make sure that you've got some basic checkpoints on Google Maps or Waze. Make sure you're at, those type of, maybe that's getting too much in the weeds, but first of all, go see what's out there, update everything so it's consistent. The thing about brand is you want it consistent. So your headshot on LinkedIn should be the same as on Facebook, Twitter, your website, etc. I don't know if that answers your question, but take the time to do repair and maintenance of your social media platforms and make sure they match the brand that you've identified that you want to express to the world.
Yep, that's perfect. Love that. You just reminded me, funny story. I doubt she's watching, so I'll tell on her. But my coach, Terry, also who's your coach, also who's many people's coach, she's been really working on her social media game, and I've been trying to help her a little bit. And so one of her first things was Instagram. And so I went, she said, I just want to get to 500 followers as quickly as I can. And so I went and I said, well, I think the main issue is there are 3 of you. You have 3 profiles on Instagram. And she's like, what? There's no way. I said, Terry, you do. So I screenshot. They all had a different profile pic. They all had the same name. And she's like, I guess I've started those in the past and forgot the password. I'm like, okay, first step. Delete the other, like you have to be consistent with what you're doing. So I thought that was funny. So she did, and she just hit her 500, which is great. But cleanup is really important.
And Dana, thanks for bringing that up because that's super important. People are trying to find your storefront, right? You sell a service and you have a storefront. And if they can't find your storefront, or there are 3 of you, a lot of people have like 2 LinkedIn accounts because they lost their phone number. So you've got to take the time block and clean all of that up. You've got to get to 1 Instagram account, 1 LinkedIn account. You've got to be able to find you very easily, what they call Google's golden triangle, right? All marketers are trying to get their profile to pop up in Google's golden triangle. If you have a very common name, you're going to have to work harder at this than an Erlanger, where there's like 9 of us in the world. So,
Love
yes,
it.
make sure your storefront is easy to find.
Love that. I love that so much. Okay, Mike, do you want to go next? Why do you believe, or how do you know that digital marketing and branding is so important in our business?
For me, I know that it's important because it allows me to be omnipresent. It allows me to be in front of dozens, if not hundreds, potentially thousands of clients at any given time. The moment I meet somebody, whether it's at an open house or a buyer consult, listing presentation, if I actually get the business, I'm friending them. I usually don't friend them on Facebook. That's a little bit too forward for me personally, but I always friend them on Instagram with the intent that they also friend me back or follow me back, so that they can see both aspects of my life, the business aspect and the personal aspect. I've got 1 profile. Now I do have a team profile, but I don't have a personal profile and a business profile. It's all kind of merged into one. But it's also the social media and digital advertising is meeting the clients where they are. Everybody has a phone these days, and everybody's on social media, and or everybody's on some sort of app, or some sort of website, and that social media allows us to be where the clients are, and also the cheapest form of being where the clients are. I also do postcards, and that's not cheap at all, but social media is by far the way that I can cast the widest net for the cheapest cost. And it's the shortest putt between where I am now and meeting the clients where they are. So there's multiple reasons why I pour so much time and resources into social media, but I'm a firm believer that you first have to walk before you run. So I don't tell people to hire a full-time videographer from day one. Make sure actually that how to actually use social media first before you start investing in videographers and photographers for social media.
Totally agree with that. I'm so glad you said that, Mike. Danny and I've talked about that too. I'm so glad you said that. And sorry, you guys, today, for some reason, I'm battling like March allergies. So I'm like, sound like a smoker. But I'm so glad that you said that, because I feel like a lot of people in the beginning, they don't have that foundation or, the basis first of what they even want to do. Yeah. And they'll be like, who's your videographer? Can I use Tyler or who else or who this? And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you got to get your basis and your foundation right first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. People don't go to buy a Ferrari unless you know how to drive a stick shift, so know Great the point. Basics first.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that.
So yeah,
love that.
to your point, just just know the basics first before you start to really determine that social media is going to be a pillar of your business. Because, I of all people know that social media and using it as a way to get clients isn't for everyone. There's a lot of real successful agents out there who just suck at social media, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I've found my niche in social media. So therefore I've, poured a lot of, time and resources into it. But that's, I only did that because I started to see the business coming in from just organically doing it using just a phone. There's tons of successful realtors on social media who don't have videographers. They just use the camera app, and that's it. So I see value in in hiring a videographer for most of my social media, besides like Instagram stories and things like that. But again, that's only because that aligns with my brand of making sure things are clean and polished. Some realtors, do really well off of just like raw video with like no editing whatsoever. But it's just the way I've kind of branded myself is just a little bit different than that.
So let me pause on that question and ask you guys some. First of all, I just noticed Kelsey and I are rocking the cute headband game today. Let me pause and ask this really quickly. Let's just go like one by one. What's your single most preferred platform for Urals business? Danny, what's yours?
Simply put, Instagram.
Okay. Kelsey?
Instagram.
Mike?
Insta.
Greg?
My favorite's Insta. Most profitable is Facebook because you're trying to hit 35 to 54-year-olds.
Yep, definitely. Okay. So I knew we were going to get a lot of Insta questions. So that's why I wanted to be able to figure that out. Now, you guys all still are on Facebook too, obviously, but some of it may even be because actually I remember I went like all in on Instagram 3 years ago and didn't post as much on Facebook. I was kind of over it. And actually my business dropped from social media that year. So it was eye-opening to me that my age group, I needed to be able to still be on Facebook also.
Dana, can I caveat that? I would say my personal Facebook is probably going to get more traction or equal traction as my personal Instagram. The business Facebook, it's very hard to organically get a lot of traffic there.
Totally.
You can post a closing picture there and get 6 likes, and the same picture on Instagram will get 100. But when it comes to my personal page, I haven't forgotten about the 30 to 60-year-old crowd who are selling their 3rd house and buying their 4th, and they're on Facebook. Greg's exactly right about that.
So do you guys attach, great question, Becky. I'm going to get to all the questions in the chat too. They're like blowing up. Great question. Do you guys attach your Insta to your Facebook? So do you post the same, do you have it automatically post over?
I don't.
I don't have mine automatically posted over. No, I post the same content normally, but I just copy and paste it. I don't,
Okay.
Facebook favors organic posting in it, not one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I feel like maybe Danny, I can't remember if I asked you this one time, but Facebook doesn't like when you automatically make it go over, right? They want you to go and post on, even if you copy and paste the same thing, they want you to post it.
Yep. I get hammered when I just try to switch it directly from Instagram and just add the post to both. And then I see people do that all the time, and then they'll forget to untag, because on Instagram, you're tagging people with an @ sign.
Right.
Like trash on Facebook, and people don't go and update that. So
Yep.
I have my team do it completely separately, and I do it separately if I'm posting stuff.
Yep. Love that. Okay. Love that. Let's see. Someone asked, do you share, this is why I only sent you guys like 2 preset questions, because every time we do a social media, the questions always come from the chat. Like there's so many questions. Do you share closings from a Facebook business page to your personal, or how do you guys navigate your personal versus your business page? Kelsey, do you want to go first?
So whenever like I post closing, if I post like with my clients at the closing table, I'll post on Facebook, and then I don't like double posting because you don't get as many likes. I'll put that on my Instagram story because you won't get as much engagement, because they're like, we've already seen this. And then if you don't get the likes or the comments, then it doesn't pop up on other people's pages. But I just like to always like keep it creative too. Like I don't like having the same stuff everywhere, because why would they want to go to either platform if it's already on one? So I'm trying to drive them to both spots. But
Yep.
even if like team pages, like our team shares a post, I won't share it that way because you don't get as much likes or interactions. Like I'll literally like copy and paste the whole post and reshare it on my timeline and then maybe like tag my team.
Okay. Yep. That makes sense. Danny, were you going to add to that?
Yes. So this is such a specific question. I feel like there's not a correct answer. My answer is who is closing? Because if it is my friends in my age group who want to be seen by our friends in our age group, that crap is going all over Instagram. I'm sharing it to my personal story from our team page. If there's some of my best friends, I'll post it directly on my personal page. If it is a client that was referred to me that no one knows, that no one's ever met, and no one's going to get any traction on, that post gets nowhere close to the traction of the friend that everyone in my network knows. So I will go with that to my Facebook business page and then not do anything with it. With the friend who's close to me, if I share it to my Facebook business page as well, I will then share that, track with me here, to my personal and tag those people on my personal page. For some reason, I can't tag my clients on my business page on Facebook. It just doesn't connect and work like that. So when I share it to my personal page, I will put a personal message to say, these are my favorite people in the world, tag both of them. And sometimes those posts will get upwards of 100 likes because people see that they're tagged. And even though it's a business post share, I'm tagging them and my people know who it is and they just go crazy.
Yeah.
So
Do you guys, do all of you toggle between a Facebook business page or an Instagram business page and your personal? Are you doing both?
I do both. But I like in my bio, I always have like my team's page to go follow because
Right.
like my Instagram is personal and business because I want people to get to know me, like kind of going back to like the basics of even
Hold
like,
on, we're gonna talk about that. I'm gonna talk about that. Hold on, don't do that part yet, because I want to talk about what percentage is personal versus business.
okay.
So do
Me,
you,
like
Mike, what do you
I'm focused. For me, I'm focusing most of my energy on my personal page
okay.
because I don't know of a single real estate individual, group, team, brokerage out there that the team page does better than the individual page. Because individual, that's where you do have the personal and business,
Yeah.
That content versus a business or a team page. It's going to be heavily business and work sort of stuff. And so that's why I pour most of my content and most of my my thinking, I guess, if you will, into my personal page, not my business page.
Greg, what do you do?
The business page just gives legitimacy to your brand, so it has to be there. But your personal page is your database. Your personal Facebook is your database. It's how you communicate with people. It's how you connect. And so, for example, if Kelsey friends me and then says like my business page, I'm a little put off. If she friends me and then follows me on Instagram and then I follow her and then I can see her stories, I think that's like the most there's no other word, intimate or personal way. And you're really saying, I'm letting you into my world. And we live in the world started with Real World was the name of it, right? And then all this reality show stuff started coming out. There's even a factor that millennials.
You just gave your age, by the way.
Yeah, I'm 45. Sorry, everyone. And I'm on a tech panel. So this is like a thing. I'm the oldest and I'm still on a tech panel. That is my goal, to stay young via tech. But anyway.
Half the people are like, what is Real World? Press said, Greg, you're a unicorn.
Wow, that was painful. That was painful. Man, and my birthday is actually, I'll be 46.
Saturday?
So
Yeah. Okay.
So this is perfect timing for this event. All right. Anyway, but yeah, that's your database. That's your personal. You really want to connect with people. That's, I think, how you do it. The business page is important because if you don't have it, you're not like a legitimate business. You can marry the two, but it's really the question that started with it was, do you post like the solds with your clients on point A or point B? And there's kind of two questions. What is the content you're putting out there? So I'm sure we'll get into that, but
yeah, that's coming up. We're getting a lot of content questions for sure. Okay, let's see. I had one that I wanted to ask really quickly. So you're still building your business pages, but personal seems to be more important. Wait, let's see. I feel like I missed a good one. Hold on. Okay. Well, how do you guys, what do you do as far as marketing team wise? If you have a team or you're on a team, someone said, and one person manages all socials, does it make sense to have a team business Facebook and then each agent have their own as well? Should everything be published to the team? People said sometimes they have a hard time telling who is who when it comes to teams also. So how do you guys do that? What's your thoughts and feedback?
For me, like the team page is very heavily just listed, just sold, but with a lot of what are we doing as a team? So we show, us doing marketing stuff. We show like us door knocking. We're showing client events and things like that. But that is, it is probably 75% just listed, just sold, or also or highlighting certain features of properties. If we're selling a house with like an awesome kitchen, we'll showcase a couple shots in the kitchen, sort of thing. And so it's very much just about the team, but not just listing just sold, because that's I can't stand when realtors just post just listed, just sold. I don't think anybody cares about what we just listed, and that's it. I think it's important to put it on there, but it makes my blood boil when that's all the post.
Yeah. Yep. Kelsey, Greg, Danny, Kelsey, you want to go first? Do you guys promote your team members? Do they all have their own stuff plus the team? What does that look like?
Yeah, so like all of our team members absolutely encourage everyone to have their own Facebook page, their own Instagram page, and then anything about the team, like I'm always pumping the team up, just as in if they had a closing, I'm going to post it on my Instagram story, like, heck yeah, like look at all of us succeeding. I think that's really important. It's important too for like, they see that in recruiting. Like, it's not just about gaining buyers and sellers for us. It's about like, hey, I want to be a part of that. So, looking for agents or talent, like you're going to attract what you are, and like, perception is reality. So that's a big thing for us. I think that's helped us a lot in recruiting too.
Hey, Dana, I think the big question is, where are you starting and what is your goal? So for me, the goal of my team page is to allow every single person in my network and in my database to know exactly who's on my team, to trust them, so that when they show up to show a house when I'm in Florida and don't want to, they already trust them and they can already run with it. So for me, it's all about pumping up and promoting the people that are on my team, because if people already see them on the internet, when they meet them in person, it's 2021. It just doesn't feel that weird. You feel like you know that person already. So for me, on my personal side, I love what the other panelists are saying on people need to know me and trust me. And you mentioned Gary Vee earlier, Greg. Gary Vee is like, put content out there. You got to act like you're a celebrity, put it in front of people. And Mike is phenomenal. I followed him for the last couple of months now on front-facing camera stuff, on just everything you're doing, dude, is out there. I elected a little while back to stick to what Dana and I would call the almighty grid, which is if I post something on Instagram, it is going to be a beautiful person, a beautiful house, or a beautiful closing, or something that has a purpose. I will never put anything on the internet that does not have a purpose. And my biggest pet peeve on all of social media, and the number one thing that anybody watching this should take away, is if you are complaining on the internet about anything, delete your account. You're better off without it. You cannot get on the internet and tell me how hard your day was, how hard you're working. Oh my gosh, how stressed you are. You are being trusted with the biggest asset of someone's entire life, and you're stressed and they know you're stressed. They're picking me instead of you, or they're picking Mike, or they're picking Kelsey, or they're picking Greg, because we're not showing them that we're stressed. We're showing them the best of every moment possible. You get the opportunity to show them exactly what you want to show them. And Greg, you pointed it out. For me, if it's not fun and it's not trustworthy, it ain't going on the internet. So that's our barometer of things that we post. And specifically for the team page, I want to do that for each individual member as well as the team victories. And then on my personal page, I want people to follow me, see that I do things outside of real estate, and then my life and my business have blended into one fun thing, like Mike said, which they have. That is not a lie. My life and my business are one thing. My friends and my clients are one thing. And then we throw banging events so everybody can celebrate it all together. What a win, right?
I love it. I want to do business with you, Danny, when I look at your social media. Greg, were you going to say something? I feel like you're chomping at the bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty passionate about it. When you start to look at your unique value proposition as a team leader to the agents, if you can help them build a brand within your brand, the same way that we've all built brands within Keller Williams brand. Keller Williams is so huge, you can have a huge brand inside it. And then your team should be large enough to pour into people. I heard a really good quote from Keller Williams agent Jeff Glover out of Michigan today. He said, but what if they leave my team? I build up, I give them everything I got and they leave the team. And what he said is, well, what if you don't teach them anything and they stay on your team? And I just thought that was really good. So let's pour into our people. And what that means to me is help them build their brand on social media. And in fact, I know that our team is considered like the team with all the big names, and it's because we allowed them to get big brands inside our team. And now our team has a reputation of the team with the big names in the team. So it was a value. It's combining brands. So why did Target put a Starbucks inside Target? Two brands are more powerful than one. It benefited both of them mutually, right? And so you can do that as a team. Our offices do that with us. Keller Williams did that with us, and we do it with Keller Williams. As a new agent, if you're not promoting Keller Williams brand along with yourself, you're doing yourself a disservice. That brand has power. You don't even have one yet, right? So and then also with your office, you have a powerful office brand. And again, I always slip back into that, but we talk about social media, but that always goes back to content. And again, I think Danny said this, what are you trying to accomplish? And if it's brand awareness, which is one of the things, and call to action is another thing, identify what that is. And in my opinion, promoting each individual person on your team adds value almost for no cost. So you always want to build that value proposition so they stay on your team.
Well said.
Love that. Love that. Okay. I'm going to rapid fire some of these questions to get through them. Answer honestly. Does social media come naturally to you? Do you feel like it's just like one of your unique abilities? Danny?
Yes.
Kelsey?
Yeah, I love it. I just found a niche in it. I enjoy letting people know about the houses I'm flipping, or that it's not always glamorous and pretty. I kind of show them the other side of real estate, like the foreclosures, the walls are falling in, this lights haven't been on in 2 years. It's not all what it is that you see on TV. And so I do like to show all the sides of it, and to kind of gain respect from people that we just don't go off and go to a closing and then come back to the office,
Yeah, love it. Mike, does it come naturally for you?
It does not. It's something I had to work on, and I'll continue to work on. The videos that you mentioned, if it's a 60-second video on Instagram, it probably took me an hour to film it. Like my videographer is putting together a whole blooper reel of all the different takes that we did.
Okay,
I would literally probably
that.
sometimes do 5, 6, 7 takes.
I love that you are saying that, because I would say it does. I love it too. Like people always say, do you let someone else do your social media? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I have OCD. I like to do it myself. The grid. I want my grid to look good. But a lot of people that doesn't come naturally for. And so I want them to hear you, because you knew that it was important. And even though it didn't come naturally, or you didn't just love it, you are doing it, and in a very big way.
Yeah. And the cool thing about social media is that there's never a benchmark, I guess. Once you get to, once you start your page and, and you're like, all right, I'm going to set the benchmark to get to 1,000 followers. And then that 1,000 becomes 3,000, and then 5, then 10, then upwards from there. And so just like with most things in life, you can't, there's nothing to quantify you've made it in social media. And so I'm constantly looking for ways to add creativity to my content and be able to put out new content that is engaging for the 97% of people who are not looking to buy or sell a house. And, people always come to me and they're like, Mike, I'm just not comfortable on camera. How are you so comfortable? I'm not comfortable whatsoever on camera. I take so many, we do so many takes. My videographer hates me half the time because we do so many takes.
And here we are, Dana. Mike, you just said it. When I followed you at first, I thought I had made it on social media. And then I followed you and I was like, golly, the student in Indy is crushing it. I'm doing nothing.
Yeah.
So true.
Yes. So there's nothing out there to say, you know what, I've reached the end. It's kind of like the internet. There was that one commercial a couple of years ago where the guy, you know, he was like searching a website or something, and it's fine, and there was a thing that popped up that said, "You have reached the end of the internet." And so that's kind of how I view social media: is how can I continue to improve? And you know, I think it's like a scripting or something. Like there's always things that we can do better, and so that's what I'm constantly looking at myself for: is how can I make my social media even better?
Well, you practice it. I mean, you're practicing every day too.
Yeah.
I love that you shared that. Greg, does it come natural for you?
I think the question is, it takes effort. I mean, it is time block and it takes effort. I think it can come natural because we all are on social media, but to the effect of what are you trying to communicate and do, I think you have to time block and add that to your day. So I'm good at it, but that's because like you were just saying about Mike, he's practicing it, right? Everybody's working hard at it because there is a value payoff.
Yeah. You know, one thing I want to mention here too, I'll share a story about Linda McKissick. So for those of you that are watching and or listening and it doesn't come natural. So Linda, we used to always laugh and joke because I would say, I want you to build up your social media and I want you to do this and I want you to do that. And she would say, I do all these great things. And it just doesn't come natural for her to remember to take a picture or to document it or to do any of those things. And so she knew the importance of it. And so she hired someone to help her with her social media. And they have, you know, a shared photo album in their iTunes. Oh, what's it called? Like, you know, you can do a shared photo album. And so Linda will drop her pictures in there and then Caitlin will post them and come up with the content and stuff. So for some of you that if you know that you're never going to do this, then you might need to figure out the who I just happen to have this link here that is going to help you do it and who can leverage it for you if you're never going to do it, because the reality is it's that important. So you either have to do what Mike and Greg do and make it a part of something that you're practicing and you're committing to do it and you're putting it in your calendar and you're working on it and you're making it a part of your lead generation. If it doesn't come natural to you, like maybe it does Danny or Kelsey or myself to just take a picture of everything, then you got to figure out a way to go and do it and to make that happen. What percentage? So I'm sorry, go ahead.
So two things to that. So one of the most powerful quotes, if you will, that I've heard regarding social media is don't create content, document it. You know, so, you know, like I have 1,000 different areas where I kind of jot down ideas that I have for a post or something. But I always want to just go back to, don't think of new posts, just document what you're doing, whether it's showing a house or, you know, meeting with a buyer for a buyer consult or, you know, just sold a house or something like that. Just document the content and that's the content, you know, so instead of creating it. And then also there's a ton of different services out there. They're more like subscription websites, you know, where you pay like $30, $50 a month, something like that, that they basically come up with a content calendar for social media for you, or, you know, they provide templates for you to upload into Canva and then put your own little wording on it and then use that as a post. The site that I'm thinking of is coffeeandcontracts.com or something like that. I think it's like $30 a month. And there's probably a dozen real estate specific subscription websites out there that you can kind of use that as a platform, you know, and as a starting point. I used to sign up for those sort of websites like not too long ago, like a couple months ago, but I found that their content I didn't really need it, but that's because I've, you know, kind of know what I'm doing with social media. But for, you know, like there have been multiple people you know, on this call that have asked, where do we come up with content and what should we post? Well, those sort of subscription websites, they kind of give you at least a starting point for you to go from there.
That was actually going to be one of my next questions, which was content. So are you guys coming up with your own content? Where do you get content ideas from? And are you using scheduling platforms? All three of those were questions in the chat.
I'm not using a scheduling platform or anything like that. For me, my content, like a lot of it is inspired by other agents around the country. You know, Ryan Serhant will post something and I'll be like, that's really cool. And I don't completely duplicate it, but I use it as inspiration towards another post of mine or a video or something like that. So there's probably a dozen agents that I follow around the country that I kind of use their social media as inspiration towards, towards my content. So just classic R&D, rip off and duplicate.
Yep.
I'm constantly just trying to think of ways, like I said, to cater to the 97% of people who are not looking to buy or sell a house.
Yeah.
And I think that's a real stat. I think that like anywhere between 3 and 5% of people are looking to buy or sell a house. So why should we come up with content that only, that's only directed towards those people? Use media to buy or sell your house. Instead, I want to focus on the 97% of putting out content that 97% of people are gonna care about, not just the 3 to 5%.
Yeah. Actually, I was just looking for a stat. I shared a stat yesterday in a top 20% mastermind. Oh, shoot. Let's see. Hold on. Let me try to find it really quickly. It was, because this was really important to know. I'm almost there. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. Last year, there were 5.6 million homes sold. And there are 83 million homeowners. So are you competing for the 5.6 million that sold or for the 83 million homeowners? There's a lot more homeowners than just someone who did business in the last 12 months. So it's really interesting to look at it and think about it that way. When you guys, Danny, when you were just getting started, where did you go to for content for like newer agents? I'll let you and Kelsey answer that one.
So this is my favorite thing. I talked a lot about the events earlier. I threw a launch party when I first started. That was one of 2 big things that I did. The other big thing was purely social media. And this is where I caveat this by saying, I recognize and hear you and agree that not everybody can do exactly what we do with the same content and get the same results. There were other people in my office that tried to do exactly what I'm just about to tell you, and it didn't work. So I recognize that there is a tribe of people behind me that have believed in me for the first 29 years of my life that help me now and are engaging with my posts now, not just because I followed them, but because they like me in person. And there's a big difference between trying to cater to a network of people who already like you than it is creating a new following of people you don't know. That's really hard to do. So what I did, I recognized when I searched realtors, when I first was about to get in 2018 and realized all of their marketing was complete garbage, I was like, I need to have a good agent video. There just has to be a good video of me that somebody can watch for 2 minutes and be comfortable with who I am, trust me, like me, and I want that to be the first thing on my website. And something I think it was Greg or Mike and Dana, you guys addressed earlier, you can have the best video in the world, but where does it go? And I had a marketing guy tell me once, if you film the best video and spend thousands of dollars on it and put it in the bottom right corner of your website, you'll get 0 leads from it. So it's what are you going to do with it once you have it? So Mike makes these awesome videos. His video guy's great. He's great. If he didn't put them on Instagram, they wouldn't do anything. So he's created the following and then puts it in the right place. But when I started, I made this video, I posted it on my page, and I wrote on there, hey, I've purchased, which at the time I was broke as a joke. And I went out and bought a couple Amazon gift cards. And I said, hey, if anyone shares this, you'll be entered into a drawing to win a $100 Amazon gift card. And there will be 5 $15 Starbucks gift cards I'm also giving away. I'm going to go live on Facebook a week from now and pick a winner. And over 100 people shared my video, and they didn't just share it. They wrote a paragraph of why I was just the greatest person they had ever met, and how as I was kicking off my business, no one should ever talk to anyone else in the world except me about buying a house. I was almost in tears. It literally blew my mind how much my tribe came to bat for me. And that kicked me off into then my real estate launch party right after that, which 175 people came to. And I was on the phone with a girl this morning and we did like pulled pork sandwiches, giveaways, and all kinds of stuff. But I was telling a girl this morning in Florida, she called me, she started a week ago. She's like, what should I do? And I'm like, look, at the end of the day, that launch party of the 175 people that came, I swear, without exaggeration, I look at the photos now, I think 100 of them are past clients 3 years later.
Wow.
So it's crazy that people that you already know are willing to believe in you if you put yourself out there And I believe it's like 80% of realtors that get a license in the first year are gone after a year. I hate stretching that stat. I've heard between 80 and 90% though. And what I know is that if you don't put yourself out there, or if you're too scared to even admit that you're a realtor, good luck. So I did the opposite of that. And I had that plan in place. Even when I was getting my license a week before, I had that whole giveaway typed up a month before. I'm sorry. I had my first Facebook post typed up a month before I was licensed. I had my headshots done 2 weeks before I was licensed. It doesn't come when you're winging it. When you're in it, there has to be a plan. And then when you play that out, it can work great. And I'll finish with this. I mentioned that from my office, there was a girl, poor girl, posted it 3 separate times trying to get people to do her giveaway, and nobody ever shared it. And at that point, I realized, okay, there's more to it than just the thing. The tactic doesn't work for everybody. It has to have the people behind it that also believe in you. So hopefully, if you're tapping into social media and you're in our age group, that's something where it would help take off for you, but not always, I guess.
That is a great story. While the next person's talking, would you be able to find that video and post the link in the chat?
Is that my agent video?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we are releasing new ones. I now have paid for them to be done for my entire team. They're finishing up all the B-roll.
Oh,
So
great.
the next month, we've got all the new ones, but I'll post my original one. I think it's
will you post your original one?
Post now. Yeah. I'll look it up.
Okay, cool. Okay, thanks. Kelsey, any thoughts on when you're newer and starting out, how to come up with content?
I think my biggest thing was just letting people know I was in the business, like he said. And I went in and I started like adding everyone that looked familiar on Facebook. And I didn't like reach out and say, hey, I'm a realtor. I just, kind of subtly did it. And now I'm like at a max, like 5,000 friends. And it's crazy. I think whenever you do that, you don't realize like the people sitting in the way in the back are your biggest fans sometimes, like closer than some of your best friends. I'll have people that I've never even done a deal with, and they've sent me 3 or 4 referrals from like just getting to know me through social media. So that's my biggest thing, is just like the outreach. Like Facebook is free right now. Like just go out and add people, get to know people. And we are really lucky to be where we are because I am in a smaller town. So I just kind of make it a purpose. Like when I go out and people are talking to me, it is a conversation about real estate, letting them know people don't know what they don't know. So that's kind of what I did. And I enjoyed flipping houses and having rental property. So it was kind of posting about that too, and having like interest.
You just walked me right into the next thing. Greg, share about Landlord Greg.
Yeah. So I'm at 993 followers anyway, but if you do follow me on Instagram, you'll find this thing called Landlord Greg. And I was actually on there's no quick way to get there, but if you don't define your brand, your competitors will define it for you, right? And so I allowed that to happen on accident in a way. So I had to get back out there and try to humanize myself. My competitors were painting me as something that I wasn't, being a little standoffish, pretentious, etc., being a top agent in the city. So what I did is, quite frankly, just exposed who I really am, which is I drive an Astra minivan and I go fix toilets on my rental properties because I love that stuff. So, and I call it #LandlordGreg. So I started doing these infotaining, and the word is infotainment. You want to be solving problems, be informational and entertaining. That's what your post. When you look at content, that's what you're trying to do. You want information.
Will you say that again? Will you say that one more time? Infotainment.
Yeah, and that is I got that from, I think, Seychelle Van Pool or Jeff Glover. I'm not sure. I love it though. Infotainment. You want to be infotaining on all of your stuff. It should be informational and entertaining. If there's good information but they're bored, they're not watching it. If it's entertaining but there's no information, you might get followers, but it's not going to get any call to action. It's not going to do anything for you. And so Landlord Greg, I did that on accident. Not on accident. I was purposeful in my point, which was to try and showcase like I'm just a normal guy. So stop being a hater. All right, there. That's the easiest way to say it. And when I did that, I started like horsehair plaster, right? Do you know horsehair plaster? If you break it, there's actually horsehair in it. 1920s homes, kind of fascinating. So I started sharing those type of things, spackled, like painting tips, stuff like that. And I think what people really liked about it is I was being human. I was kind of just showing who I was more than anything else. And I got all these followers. And I mean, I came up to Michigan, somebody's like, they would just yell out Landlord Greg, and they were following it. And then people, I realized, were mad because I discontinued. I didn't stay consistent. I wasn't frequent with it. I didn't realize anyone was even following it. I didn't even realize it was doing anything. And what
so you stopped doing it, and then they wanted more.
Yeah, they got mad at me in a weird way. They're like, why is landlord Greg not posting anything? I'm not. And so I was like, what is that about? And I asked, say, Shal Van Poel, and she said, well, social media, and when you go down a path like this, you've created a journey and you've invited everyone along in this journey, but then you stopped. It's like you stopped the book halfway through. You have to continue the journey. You've started something. And quite frankly, it was working. And so you should continue that journey. So I guess that's Landlord Greg. I wasn't expecting you to ask about Landlord Greg, but again, one, I guess the takeaway is I was purposeful in what I was trying to accomplish. It humanized my brand. That's, I guess, the quickest way to get to that. Again, if you don't define your brand, other people will. And the other thing is that I created a journey, didn't mean to. And then the final, and you want to continue that journey. And then the final thing is be infotaining. So why those were such a hit is there was some informational that was kind of interesting. They were short and they were entertaining because you're watching this guy who wears a suit and, you know, all the time. And he's like driving an Astro minivan. It's 20-year-olds. I'm going to get historical plates soon. Anyway, I'm never getting rid of that truck. So, and I love it. And people love that I drive it. And anyway, in fact, my last birthday cake had an Astro minivan. My admin makes cakes and she actually put the Astro minivan on my cake. My point is it became this like almost brand thing. And see, people enjoy that because it's not, I don't know how to explain it, but it was a thing. It was genuine. It was real. And going back to, that's what people want is you to be real. Don't be contrived. Be real, as real as you can.
Love that.
So I kind of want to piggyback off of what Greg just mentioned a couple of times, saying that his content, that he strives for his content to be, was it infotaining? Is that the word that you used?
Yep. Infotainment.
Yep. So something I just learned a couple of weeks ago is that, you know, the biggest buzzword in social media is algorithm. And I just heard that the Instagram algorithm is now giving the most weight to two things, and that's it. It's the number of saves on your post and the number of shares on your post, and that's it.
Number of what was the first one?
Saves and shares.
Really?
Yeah, because if you save it, that tells Instagram this is something that, you know, the saver wants to read later. So there's something about this content that is compelling to them, that they find a reason to save it, to bookmark it. Sharing basically says the same thing. There's something about this content that this sharer wants others to know about and wants others to see. And so that's something that I'm constantly thinking of whenever I try to come up with a new post or documenting something new is this post something that's going to be shareable or savable? And, you know, so like I'm constantly trying to come up with content that's compelling, it's interactive, you know, like a lot of my stories, I try to make interactive or raw as well. Like that's kind of the point of Instagram stories. And I think, Danny, you might have touched on this a little bit, is that, you know, my Instagram grid is somewhat polished. You know, it's not that raw, but my stories are very raw. And so that's the point, is that you can have, you know, these two separate, these two separate aesthetics within the same platform, the stories and posting. And so that's kind of something that I kind of challenge everybody to think about is before you post it, think of, is this something that's shareable or savable? And then if so, go ahead and post it and make sure it aligns with the brand that you're going for.
Love that.
The brand that you're trying to create.
That's great information. So thank you for sharing that, Mike. Let's take that. And speaking of sharing, let's go into giveaways. Who's doing giveaways and how are you getting the most success? I know. So someone asked too, is there a real estate coach or have you guys used a real estate coach? I don't know if any of you, I followed and subscribed to Jenna Kutcher like probably 2 years ago. And I did her whole masterclass on Instagram. And there's a lot of really, really, really great points and great things that she puts out there and that she makes. But giveaways was like one of the biggest things. And doing them, she said something that really took my attention. She said, if what you're giving away isn't worth someone taking their 30-minute lunch break and driving all across town to pick it up, then it's not a good enough giveaway. And I think a lot of times we're like, why is nobody wanting to do my giveaway? Well, they're not leaving work and driving across town for a $15 Starbucks gift card. So I'm big around the thoughts of giveaways. I think sometimes those are good, but I did a little thing around Christmas and I gave away some big stuff, and it increased my Instagram followers by like almost 2,000 from where I was before. And so I truly believe it's an investment, and I really believe in the power of giveaways. So who's doing giveaways, and what success stories can you share with them? Danny, do you want to go first?
Yeah, we're doing one right now, and guess who doesn't have to pay for giveaway? Us, because you have vendors that'll pay for that. So we're doing one right now. Last week we went from 900 followers on our team page to almost 1,400. So what we did, and this was the response from people has been like, why are you giving away those things? The list that I made of things to give away is what costs about $300 to $500, and I would never buy it on my own ever, but I would want to have it. So our list we came up with a ping pong table, an Apple Watch, a Yeti cooler, an Airbnb gift card, Apple AirPods, a Vitamix blender, a Ninja Foodie, a Roomba, a Nintendo Switch, or an Nespresso. Give me all of those, but I'm not buying it on my own. So
I love all that.
I thought, and I ran those by our team, and they're all like, a couple of those were chimed in from our team. Somebody said Vitamix. I was like, of course. But those are the things that everybody our age, and honestly, everybody wants to have that. And if you're not just swimming in money, then you're not going to go out and just buy it for yourself whenever you want to. So we've had a really good response to that. We had over 700 shares last week on that. The way we set it up is follow our page, tag 3 friends, like this post, and we should do share, save this post apparently, and go ahead and share it to your story for a bonus entry. And when people, again, they share that to their story, they then type something about, oh my gosh, the best real estate group ever is doing this giveaway. You have to follow them. So people organically help you out when you give them a reason to. And the shift that's been really fun is we put a twist on this one to be March Madness. So we did a full photo shoot with a basketball, and everybody on our team just clowned around and got a bunch of like really high quality portraits with a basketball. And we shot our video with this basketball, and it was just very fun to put all that stuff together. And the engagement and the pushback has been every single time I've been somewhere in the last week, someone says something to me about our real estate team, our giveaway, my crossover, whatever it is from what we did in that video. Everybody sees it. It immediately comes to mind when they see me. And when they think about real estate right now, they're thinking about trying to win their Vitamix and our team. So it's a mind share thing. It's a branding fit for me. Everything about it just made sense. And to be honest, it replaced an event for us because we didn't have the ability to get 300 people in a room right now. That just is not a good idea. And hopefully by the time the summer comes around, we can do a Reds game or something this year. But for us specifically, we have to invest the same amount of time, effort, and money, in my opinion, as we would for an event for this particular giveaway event. And we've got 4 of our vendors on board paying for most of them. We paid for one prize that was $350. That's it.
Those are awesome. I'm posting some of mine in the chat. Danny, I love that. I think that's great. Mike or Greg or Kelsey, any on giveaways and social media?
The only giveaway I've done, and I don't know if you can see that. So I guess it's backwards. It's called What to Post by Chelsea Pites. And the subtitle is How to Create Engaging Social Media Content That Builds Your Brand and Gets Results for Real Estate. So this is there's the Red Book, which is how to get started in real estate, how to build a team. What to Post by Chelsea Pites. That basically tells you exactly what to post.
Will you share that in the
for
chat,
real estate
please?
specific. Yeah, I will.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I think that book costs $25 or so. I just paid for it myself and tagged Chelsea in it. She has dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of followers. But I did that. Got, I don't know, I think maybe 70 or ish DMs about entering the contest and everything, because Chelsea shared it on her stories. So trying to engage people who have a much larger audience than I do was something that's been very successful. And some of my some of the biggest following groupings, if you will, that I've ever had were from other people who I've tagged in my post, and then they shared it on their stories. So there's one event that I think I got 150 new followers in like one day or something because I tagged this top realtor and he shared it on his stories. But yeah, I think that was the only giveaway that I've done. It's just that one book.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that would be great if you could post that in the chat. Kelsey or Greg, giveaways?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, you can go.
No, let's go ahead.
No, we've just started doing giveaways and really diving in. Like I said, Dana, like we are just kind of getting back to the basics and saying, why do people want to follow us? Like that, because you can like do all this really cool stuff on your Instagram, but if no one wants to follow you, no one sees it. So that's our biggest thing right now is like, hey, we're getting back to the basics again. Like, why do people want to be a part of us? Why they want to do business with us? Because these giveaways, I mean, they'll happen and then they go right away because they're going to forget about you. So like, we want to have like a big purpose behind it. And that's just kind of where we are right now, which it's working great for us.
And then if you tie in giveaways with Google reviews and Facebook reviews and stuff like that, that's kind of a 2-for-1 right there, because you're getting the social media content, the followers, but you're also getting the testimonials, which, you know, as Gary told us from stage, you know, people, it's about trust and it's about your reputation. Your reputation is based on your online reviews, whether you like it or not. And oh, by the way, you got a 1-star coming, whether you like it or not. So you better start preparing for it now. You need 55s to bury a 1-star, right? So build the 55 stars. And then when that one comes rolling through, it won't hurt you as bad. But we did a giveaway for our office, gave away 2 family reunion tickets to the agents who were given the, you know, the 5-star reviews for the office, et cetera. And that really started after we did our audit. We needed to start driving traffic to the channels, and then we can post the content, which will retain the traffic to that. So I guess what I'm saying is a giveaway can be used in multiple different ways, not just to get followers, but also to get your reviews and testimonials.
I love that. And actually, Danny just gave me an idea about the Peloton. So here's one thing I would say, and I posted this in the chat, but when you're doing giveaways, you really need to know who your sphere is and who your followers are. So like my people would share all day long for a Mackenzie Childs teapot for their stove or a you know, something.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what you're talking about.
What? Okay, I have like a million. Now I'm gonna have to show you. Hold on, I'll walk and talk. Or like these pots, you know, it's like bloggers, like these teapots that people collect, those Mackenzie Childs teapots, or the La Crusade pots. Like, so you have to know who your audience is when you're going to do a giveaway and post, especially if it's on your Instagram with your people, because they will share and they will tag and they will comment over stuff that they want. So if your sphere have a ton of kids, then they would love Kings Island passes. I can't remember who said that, but I think that's a great idea, actually. Or if your sphere is a lot of first-time home buyers, then they maybe would love a $200 gift card to Lowe's. I mean, it just depends on who technically is following you, because, and just think, it doesn't have, a lot of stuff I give away has nothing to do with real estate. It's the stuff that I know that the people that follow me would really want. And just like Danny said, they would really want a teapot, but they might not go pay $200 for one. So there's just, you have to know what it is that they would like love to have, but that they may not pay for themselves. Okay, so we have 11 minutes and I want to get through a couple more quick things. Is anybody using TikTok?
I'm browsing it.
But are you using it for your business?
No,
No.
I'm not.
Kelsey, are you?
I've started because my husband will sit there and scroll for 30 minutes and like, look at these realtors, look at these realtors. And I'm like, okay, hold on. Like, let me process this.
Yeah, I'm not either, but I see a lot. I see some people using it, some people not. Are any of you utilizing Facebook Lives?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me say this to answer both those questions. It's a deeper answer. Neither of those are a brand fit for me, in my opinion.
Right.
So speaking to Greg's point, I post professional buttoned up things. I actually don't even do a whole lot of, especially never on our business page, but rarely on my personal page, a front camera talking video. There's an argument that I could do more of that as stories, and Mike shows this pretty well. They're not throwaway, but they're more, here's my life content. I stick more to photos and boomerangs I can control than me talking to someone on that camera. But with the lives, I feel like, although I've heard algorithmically they are better, it doesn't feel like me to be, all right, we're out here in front of the open house. What feels like me is what Mike does, which is drone coming at me. What's up? We're out here in front of the house. Let's check it out. It's a calm, cool, collected vibe instead of the, I'm going to wing this here in my listing as I stick the sign in the ground vibe, which does not make one wrong. It just means for me, it's not a fit. And for TikTok, I don't see the payoff now, down the road potentially. And there's a guy from our office that kills it and he's hilarious on there. But guess what? I'm not after hilarious. I'm after trusted and fun. So if I want to be trusted and fun, I don't need to create for hours TikToks every day. They're going to be hilarious, which I think I could do and it would be fun, but it wouldn't make me money and it wouldn't drive leads for my team. So for me, it's a branding fit and a time and where I'm spending that.
Yep. I think that's a great point. Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
The most important thing about going live is the notification, and that's it. It's the notification you're looking for. If I can go live right now, every single one of my Facebook friends is gonna pick up on that. And if you can get in front of people, that is a tool that's like a no other. And I think Facebook eventually will fix that, meaning it won't be that accessible. So I think we take advantage of it while we can.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with that. Okay, so we talked about TikTok, we talked about Facebook Live. Are you guys worried about your grid on Instagram and what it looks like, or no, you don't care? Greg?
I'm looking at it now. I think it's very pretty. No, I'm not worried about my grid. It's real, it's raw, it's who I am. But that's kind of my brand. So I think if you're sophisticated, luxury, that type of brand, then you should probably have it laid out real pretty. If you're, you do a side hustle as a stager, then it should be on point. That's not who mine is. So that's my answer. It's sort of should follow your brand.
Kelsey?
To an extent I do, but I don't. Because then again, like I'm just real and this is me and this is what you get when you see me. And I don't want to have like any other different perception because I don't want them to see something on there and then they see me in real life and it might not meet it. So 50-50. Do I like my Lightroom filters? Absolutely. But I'm not going to be perfect on here or perfect on there because it's just, for me, like I said, I'm all about basics. Like just be who you are. And that's what's going to have people follow you. Like,
yep.
People want to be comfortable. They don't want to feel stuffy and uptight. Like they want to know like you're their friend. Like I'm just huge on relationships. I'm a hugger. I want everyone to feel like they're important. Like he had mentioned, like if I meet them, I'm at him on Facebook. I'm at him on Instagram. That's just my personality though. Like I'm very like hometown feel.
Love it. Yep. Mike?
I'm looking at my grid right now. Yes, I do pay attention to it in two ways. One, to make sure that I'm creating a pretty decent balance between personal and business posts. So it's not all, 6 posts in a row are about houses or listings or something like that. I throw in some family stuff and some personal stuff. And so the audience can see different aspects of my life. The individual posts I am very particular on. More so with like a video, making sure that if there's like a title of the video, it's in the box. It's not too wide. That's a huge pet peeve of mine. And I'm sure you see it on Instagram a lot where agents will post something on Facebook and then, it will automatically share to Instagram, but the formatting is all screwed up. And so just making sure that the formatting is in line with Instagram is something that I'm very particular on.
Yeah.
And making sure that I have my videographer, he formats it for Instagram.
Yep. Love it. Love it. I'm posting Urals handles. Danny, if you want to post, I don't know if you guys want to post your team ones, I'm posting your personals. If you guys want to put, there you go. If you guys want to follow both, you can. And I do have all of my giveaways on mine, so I'll share mine on there too. And then you may go look at the team ones also. Okay, last couple. If you have a last burning question, type it in the chat. Let's see. Does anybody know how to get your Facebook Live videos to continually flow from one frame to another?
There's an app for that, but I haven't done it.
Okay. I don't know the answer to that either. Oh yeah, same, okay, same question. Okay. Oh yeah, there you go. Thank you for posting Harris Jabo. Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's see. Last question. Let's see. I'm looking at Urals right now. I mean, it seems to me like 70% personal, 30% business almost ratio. Anybody disagree with that? Or do you feel like
I think mine might be flipped.
Your might be flipped? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, Greg puts no personal.
Hey now.
Do you want to share why? Why do you not?
Well, that is, if you know me, that's genuine. I'm a workaholic. I live and die everything. I'm socially inept. I can't go to parties and not talk about real estate or marketing. If you like real estate, we're gonna have a great conversation. That and craps, at Vegas, I'll talk about craps. But other than that, I have no social acumen.
Love it. Okay. I know when I met Greg, I was like, okay, you say you have a family, but do you really have a family? Because I find no pictures.
That is true. That actually is, I just know too much about tech.
You purposefully do that.
Yeah, well, that's sort of a darker probably thought process there. But I worked at AT&T in corporate America for 10 years selling data networking and stuff. I think we're starting to see just a little bit too much accessibility of the big tech into our world. And so my child is just kind of an off limits thing, even though he's my joy in life and family and just protecting. And as you get a bigger brand, and if we all want to be the #1 realtor in the world, it's going to be important that you protect. And so be purposeful, be thoughtful about what you're putting out there. If you really want to know me, let's go have coffee. You'll get to really know me. And, I'm putting the best version of myself out into the public here. But there's a little bit of fraudulent, activity going on there. It's like, that's the best me. The real me is over here at a coffee shop somewhere. We can talk. It's dark. No, I'm kidding. It's a wonderful place.
Well, I appreciate you sharing that. And not to put you on the spot, I wanted you to, because I just want everybody to know that no one is the same, and everybody shares and does and posts and is different and has different things. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, I knew, Greg, you had a lot. I wanted you guys to hear that, because there's no right or wrong, and there's no judgment in any way, shape, or form, whether you post a picture of your family and your kids every day, or whether you don't, or whether you post every time you sell, have a closing, or whether you don't and you are more relational like Kelsey. So there's no right or wrong. What I want you to hear is that you have to do what's going to work for you and what's authentic and genuine for you. Because one of my very favorite Craig Rochelle quotes, and we can probably almost end on this, is people would rather follow a leader that's real than a leader that's right. And all people care about, Gary just talked about this at Family Reunion with that triangle of trust, authenticity, empathy, and logic. They want to know that you're real. They want to know that you are who you say that you are. They want to know that you care about them and their success. And then they want to know that you have the logic and the reason to be able to help them through the process. But at the very top is the authenticity piece. And if they don't feel that you're real, then there's going to be a disconnect somewhere. And so you've got to make sure what you're doing is real. So any parting thought from you guys? Danny, I'll go with you first. Like one last piece of advice, one parting thought.
The one thing I had written down here, we had talked earlier about branding and why it's important. And that was a question. I think it never got to me. So I had this written down.
Yes, please share.
At the beginning, when I started, there was a subset of people called everyone in my life that never asked me, how's real estate going? They would approach me, and this is for one reason, social media. They would approach me and say, hey, I see you're killing it in real estate. This is when I had sold like 3 houses. It is all about what you show people, and what you show people will be able to build that personal brand and support the narrative or the story or who they think you are. And if they think that you are a successful person selling houses, having fun, and you're worth trust, they will trust you with their house when the time comes. So without ever spending $1 on lead generation in my life, we broke 100 sales last year. And I'd so much rather have broken 100 units without spending money outside of social media than I would be pumping $9,000 a month into Zillow and get to 125 sales. And that to me, the profit loss doesn't make sense. The effort doesn't make sense. Working with people I don't know and love doesn't make sense. We are so referral based and we're so sphere based. And what happens is people trust you based on what you're willing to show them. So that goes in line with my don't complain on social media thing. It's people trusted me because of what I showed them. And it was never, how's real estate? It's, I see you're killing it in real estate. And it still is today.
Love that. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Dana, you're so great. Mike, next.
I'd say don't overthink it. So many agents can get wrapped up in analysis paralysis with what they're going to post and how they're going to post and what time they're going to post and choosing the right filter and all of this fluff. But just don't think too much into it. Stay consistent with social media. You've got to be authentic with it. So many people throw that out, but I think that doesn't, I can't hone in on that enough, that you've got to stay authentic. People are hiring you for you. And so, if you're afraid of what you might sound like on camera or what you might look like on camera, unless you're going to be one of these agents that never meets their clients, then that sort of thought process just doesn't make sense. If you think that your clients are going to think you look goofy on camera, they're going to think you look goofy in real life. So just go ahead and just kind of embrace the suck, I think. Again, like, I'm still not comfortable on camera. I take multiple takes for every single scene of my video. And it takes 3 times as long as, what it could take. But it's part of my brand, and it's kind of part of this business that I've built. But I think that once you kind of shift your mindset from social media as a tool or a medium to just like posts or rant or watch stupid cat videos or TikTok dances or something like that, and start utilizing it as a business tool to interact with your clients. And that's kind of the key word in all of this, is you got to engage and you've got to interact, or else social media is just going to be another platform to keep scrolling. And so, I think that once you start utilizing it as a way to stay in touch of, random leads as well as your sphere and database, then you can really start to see that hockey stick growth going up with not only the number of followers, which we all know doesn't really matter. It's about the engagement of those followers. I'd much rather have 500 followers that they all engage rather than 10,000 followers and only a small percentage of them do engage. And so not getting too wrapped up in the fluff and the minutia of followers and filters and all that stuff. Really, it's just gotta stay authentic in what you post, what you put out there.
I love that, Mike. Thank you for sharing that. One thing I'll say really fast before I go to Kelsey is you can always see people who buy their followers. Like, if you go look and somebody has like 10,000 followers, and then you look at their post and they've got like 13 likes or 5, 2 comments, like, that to me means nothing. They're not, who cares how many likes they have? You can tell they went on and bought them on Fiverr for probably $50. You really want to see, you want the engagement. It doesn't matter if you have 1,000 followers. If you're getting 200, 300 likes and comments on your post, like, that's what you want. Kelsey, final parting thought?
No, I was kind of rolling those both in. Like, my biggest thing is like perception is reality. And just keep it real. It just makes it so much easier, because honestly, like, I'm so busy that I don't want to make social media hard. It's something I enjoy. So like, let's just do it, have fun with it. And if I look a wreck, I look a wreck. Or if my fake eyelashes somewhere, then that's, I don't know. Like, this is, so it's just like, hey, Kelsey has flaws like I do. Oh, Kelsey's a train wreck today. I had that day too. Like, you can just all laugh about it. So it's just go with the flow and don't stress about it. This is supposed to be something that's like an addition to your business,
Yep. Love it. Great job. Love it. Thank you. Okay, Greg, take us home with a parting thought.
Just final tip: solve a problem with your content. Figure out what the problem is, communicate, figure out how you're the one that's solving the problem. So your post should be, stress the problem, solve the problem, right? I'm losing in multiples. Well, then show them how your last client just found a house in under 30 days and that solved a problem, right? That's just kind of one to think about. And then second, it absolutely takes work. It should be a part of your daily schedule. You should time block 1 hour, 2 hours. Also, figure out what you're going to do before you go in there. like write it down. What is your goal? Because the minute you go into this, you're down every rabbit hole. Stay away from the red dots. Do not go near the red dots. What are those? Those are the notifications. And somebody might have liked your profile photo and it makes you feel great, but then you're distracted because now you're looking at their profile. So go in with a purpose, time block, and make sure you're, I want to do 5 comments, 5 testimonials for other people, come from contribution, give to others. I got 2 people that just shared like our post that made me feel good. I know who they are. I'm about following them. So come from contribution if you want to get it back.
Love that. Love that. Love that. Well, I thank you guys so much. You guys, let's give them some love and chat, love and praise in the chat. And a thank you in the chat. Friends with you guys, consider you friends and great peers in the industry. And I'm so thankful for all 4 of you guys. So keep crushing it. Thank you so much for all you're doing. Thank you guys, everyone who watched. Our goal is for the Ohio Valley region to have the best training hands down in the company. So thank you for making that happen and sharing all of these things. And go follow Danny and Mike and Kelsey and Greg. And you can watch all the stuff that they do while you guys, the chat is blowing up. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Have a great
Thanks,
day.
Dana.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you. See ya.
See ya.